Good day, my friends. Today, I want to share with you one of the most powerful lessons I ever encountered, a simple, practical formula that can help you conquer the worries that sap your energy and steal your peace of mind. A method so effective you can start using it before you even finish listening to this talk. So sit back, open your mind, and let me tell you a story, a true story about how to overcome worry one step at a time. Many years ago, I had lunch with a brilliant engineer, a man who changed the world with his ideas, Willis H. Carrier, the father of modern air conditioning. As we sat together at the Engineers Club in New York City, he told me about a time early in his career when he faced a devastating problem. He had been tasked with installing a gas cleaning device in a multi-million-dollar plant of the Pittsburgh Plate Glass Company. The machinery, experimental and untested, ran into unforeseen difficulties. It didn't meet the guarantees they had promised. Failure loomed. Carrier was crushed. He couldn't sleep. His stomach twisted into knots with worry. Perhaps you felt that way too, consumed by fear, unable to think clearly. But then he did something remarkable. He sat down and asked himself 3 questions. First, what's the worst that could possibly happen? He realized he might lose his job. The company might lose $20,000, but no one would die. He would not go to prison. Life would go on. Second, he reconciled himself to accepting that worst case, if it happened. If I lose my job, he thought, I can find another, and the company can absorb the loss as part of their research. Suddenly, his mind relaxed. Third, with a clear head and calm nerves, he asked himself, now, how can I improve the situation? With new energy, he discovered that by spending an additional $5,000, they could fix the problem. Instead of losing $20,000, the company earned $15,000. Imagine that. Had he remained paralyzed by fear, he would never have found that solution. Because worry, my friends, destroys concentration, clouds judgment, and saps creativity. Only by facing the worst calmly can we regain our power to think. Why is Willis H. Carrier's formula so psychologically sound? Because it pulls us out of the swirling gray clouds of anxiety and plants our feet firmly on solid ground. As Professor William James once said, acceptance of what has happened is the first step in overcoming the consequences of any misfortune. When we accept the worst, we stop fighting the imaginary battles in our minds. We free our energy for action. We can finally think clearly, calmly, effectively. Let me share another story, and this time from one of my students, a New York oil dealer. He found himself the victim of blackmail, threatened with ruin by a man posing as a government inspector. The worry consumed him. He couldn't sleep, he couldn't eat. He was trapped, paralyzed between paying a bribe or risking the destruction of the business his father had built. But then he remembered the story of Willis H. Carrier. He asked himself, what is the worst that can happen? Answer, his business might be ruined, but he wouldn't go to jail. He accepted that mentally, and once he accepted it, the emotional storm passed. He thought clearly again. He consulted his lawyer, and what did he discover? The blackmailer was a fraud wanted by the police. By facing the worst, he found his way out and saved everything. My friends, the formula is simple. 3 steps. 1, ask yourself, what is the worst that can happen? 2, prepare yourself to accept it if you must. 3, calmly work to improve upon the worst. That's it. Simple and life-changing. When you use this method, you'll discover a tremendous new freedom, because once you've accepted the worst, you have nothing more to lose. And that means you have everything to gain. At just about the same time, Willis H. Carrier was worrying over the gas cleaning equipment in Missouri. Another story was unfolding across the country, a story even more extraordinary. Earl P. Haney, a man from Broken Bow, Nebraska, was staring death straight in the face. Diagnosed with duodenal ulcers, warned by top specialists that he was beyond help and advised to prepare for the end. Earl made a decision most people wouldn't even dream of. He decided to live. With nothing left to lose, he bought a ticket to sail around the world. His doctors warned him he wouldn't make it back alive. Earl smiled, bought a casket to take with him aboard the ship, and said, If I must go, I'll go my way. And what a journey it was. Earl lived as he never had before. He ate whatever he wanted, laughed heartily, smoked cigars, drank highballs, made new friends, and sang songs under the stars. He stared down typhoons, laughed through monsoons, and saw firsthand how tiny his problems were compared to the vastness of the world. When he returned to America, he was healthier than he had been in years. He had gained 90 pounds of life. The casket he once thought he would need, he sold it back to the undertaker and returned to work stronger and happier than ever. Earl Haney had never even heard of Willis Carrier's formula. Yet by accepting the worst and then working joyfully to make the best of it, he stumbled onto the same life-saving principle. And because he stopped worrying, he lived. Now, friends, if a man could save his life, if a businessman could escape financial ruin, if an engineer could save a $20,000 project just by applying this formula, then isn't it worth trying for yourself? Here it is again, the magic formula for solving worry situations. 1. Ask yourself honestly, what is the worst that can possibly happen? 2. Mentally accept that worst-case scenario if you must. 3. Calmly devote your energy to improving on the worst. Simple, yes. Easy to apply, not always. But powerful beyond belief? Absolutely. You see, worry is a thin stream of fear trickling through the mind. If encouraged, it cuts a channel into which all other thoughts are drained. But when we face the worst and accept it, the stream dries up, and fresh ideas, new energy, and courageous action can flow in. I leave you with this. Don't let worry rob you of your strength, your creativity, your life. Face it, accept it if you must, and then rise above it. Remember what Professor William James said, acceptance of what has happened is the first step in overcoming the consequences of any misfortune. And remember too, when we have accepted the worst, we have nothing more to lose and everything to gain.